Hi guys, this is Gina. DNS Bait. This report is current as of Wednesday the 3rd here. We do have some special hours for today and tomorrow. Wednesday the 3rd is the Rhythm and Booms display here in Warner Park, so we'll be closing at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then on July 4th, we'll be open from 5:30 a.m. till 3 p.m. So then on Friday, we'll resume our regular hours. As far as the fishing goes around town, there's been a surprisingly decent perch bite going on up here on Lake Mendota, and surprisingly few guys fishing them, which is kind of interesting. I've had reports from several areas around the lake, mostly weed related, but there are some out on the flats. Some good areas to look for those weed fish would be Governor's Island, off the state park, Governor Nelson State Park, over by Marshall Park, Spring Harbor, over by Commodore, not the Commodore, over by the Hatch Cover, and I've even heard some along the city shoreline and down in University Bay. There's also been some fish moving out onto the flats over there off of Spring Harbor. I've heard them as deep as 24 feet of water at times. Those fish are definitely more fun to fish because you're not dealing with all the weeds. I do have hellgrammites here for those of you who are venturing out for perch, but it seems as though they're not totally necessary. Some guys have been doing pretty good with a piece of crawler or some spikes. As far as bluegills go up here on Lake Mendota, they seem to be scattered along the weed lines, and the smallmouth are on the weed lines and bars where you do find some rock. Governor's Island area on the west, Dunn's Bar, Second Point, Commodore, over at Burley Street and the Burley Street shoreline point there. All those areas have been having some success with the smallmouth. Down on Lake Monona, bluegills are moving out away from the weed lines. From the weed line out, starting to suspend a little bit. Start looking for those fish anywhere from 12 to 20 feet of water, and I'm sure there's some fish out in deeper water yet already. They are still getting some perch along the weed lines on Monona. Some good areas to look for those perch would be along that Monona shoreline, Sluter Beach, Wild Haven, out from the rock pile, over by Oland, Turville Point. All those areas there's been perch reports off the weed edge. On the North Shore over by Hudson Park, once in a while there's some perch off the weed edge there. And then the bluegills are all in those same areas and many more, obviously. Muskie fishermen still seem to be struggling to get the fish to hook up. They are showing themselves once in a while, but it sounds like that fishing's still been a little tough. And the bass fishermen have been having pretty good success out in that 8 to 10 foot of water and a little bit deeper as far as the largemouth go on Lake Monona. Down on Waubesa, I honestly haven't heard a lot lately because I think most of the action's been up here on these lakes as far as the guys I've been talking to. I'm sure there's some bluegills moving out off the weed edges down there. The crappies are still off the weed lines. The muskie bite seems to be the same as on Monona. And the bluegills do seem to run a little nicer on Waubesa when you run into them than on Monona. A lot of smaller fish up there on Lake Monona. Kegonsa, I haven't really heard much at all lately. I don't even have anything to tell you. I'm sure there's some bluegills and some perch on those weeds down there, but I just haven't heard much. That's about all I have for right now. So if you'd like to call us at the store if you need to, it's 608-241-4225. Or our fishing report on the phone line is 608-244-3474. That spells big fish. Thanks.